Hello there, my FNaF nostalgia geeks. I am your host, Hunter the Sith, and welcome, yes, welcome to the first ever video of FNaF A Jump to the Past. If you made it to this channel, where basically what we do is talk about OG Five Nights at Freddys stuff from your childhood memories, from my childhood memories, from Evan's childhood memories, from Twisted's childhood memories, my other friends' childhood memories, because all of us created this channel. All of us are going to talk about our thoughts of what we remember from the history of FNaF, what animations we liked, and our childhood memories. And if you want to help out, just message me and I'll tell you what to do if you want to help out on the channel. But besides that, welcome to the first episode. Yes, I'm calling it episodes or parts, but welcome to the first episode of FNaF A Jump to the Past, starring me, Hunter the Sith, where, we're going to talk about, since it's the 10-year anniversary of Five Nights at Freddys. It is crazy that this franchise has been going on for 10 years. We just got, it's crazy how this game went from 2014, a point-and-click game, to a, virtual reality or 3D or a movie-like game. But besides that, happy 10 years to Five Nights at Freddys. This game has been my childhood ever since. This game has made me become who I am and what you guys are and my other friends are. It's made me gain people from my main channel, Hunter the Sith. Go subscribe to that. And it's just made me really happy. And before we talk about what the subject we're going to talk about, I just want to say thank you, Scott. Thank you, Blumhouse. Thank you, Steelwool, for continuing on Five Nights at Freddys, and making it better and better each and every way, and making the franchise great and good. I can't believe it's been 10 years since the first game. But that's a subject we're going to talk about, is the history. Now, when I say history, I'm not talking about 1 through the other games, okay? This is the history of the first Five Nights, the one that started it all. So this is the history of Five Nights at Freddys. And I might not make everything right, so it's okay in the comments. You guys go, well, you got that wrong, you got this wrong. It's okay? This is just the history of FNaF. But let's date back all the way to 2014. August 8th. Well, not really August 8th. Let's just date back from either the generation of Scott Cawthon, the creator himself, the dude who made Five Nights at Freddys, this franchise. Scott Cawthon was a person who made, before Five Nights at Freddys, other games. He made Chipper and Sons, Sit and Survive, There Is No Pause Button, and many more other things. If I can't name them in my head, I can't name them in my head, but he made other things. He also made some Christian movies, Christian series, and on his YouTube channel, you can clearly tell that he made some stuff with his family too, of animations about those Christian things. But before FNaF was around, he made, what I said, Chipper and Sons. Chipper and Sons, I guess you could say, was kind of the start of Five Nights at Freddys. It was the start of Freddy and the Fazbear Band and everyone else. Chipper was the first character. Chipper was a game, I haven't really played Chipper, so again, comments are fine. Just don't hate on me too much. But Chipper is basically just like FNaF. It's not like a point-and-click sit-and-survive moment. It's just a point-and-click, like FNaF World, kind of. It's a point-and-click. You have to take, there's no enemies, but you have to, cut trees down with you're a beaver, basically. You're Chipper the beaver, or you're not Chipper, you're Chipper, you're basically Chipper's son. Tyke. I was trying to remember the name. You're Tyke, and basically Chipper is your father, and you have to do many things around the Lumber Co. and all these other stuff. Now, even though Scott made that, Chipper and Sons was surprisingly going to be the last game in Scott Cawthon's series that he was going to make. everyone didn't like Chipper and Sons. Everyone didn't enjoy Chipper and Sons, actually. So Scott was like, you know what? I'm going to make the last game. The last and final game that I make. And either one of the reviews or something said that the characters in Chipper and Sons moved around or were kind of weird like animatronics. Scott got the idea of Five Nights at Freddys. Or he got the idea of animatronics in his head. So his last game was Five Nights at Freddys. With the trailer going up of an animatronic bear. We didn't know at the time, but an animatronic bear and a bunny and chicken. We didn't know if there was a fox yet, because Foxy wasn't really shown in the trailers. But there was a bear, a bunny, and a chicken. And the title was Five Nights at Freddys, from the trailer that released of the first game. The hype was all around 2014 with that game. So when the trailer dropped, the first game demo dropped not on Steam. It dropped somewhere else. The first game, as I can't mention the name of where it dropped, my bad. The first game demo dropped somewhere else, not on Steam. It was getting that popular rage that it needed to be right after it went on Steam. Played by PewDiePie, then Markiplier, as what we now know, the king of Five Nights at Freddys. Markiplier played it. Corey X Kinshin played it. It was a big thing at the time. As the popularity grew of Five Nights at Freddys, just the popularity of the first game, because of the terrifyingness, the scariness, the horror, the dread, the fear of these animatronics, the hauntingness of them. Scott felt happy about the game he created. In the first game, you're a security guard. I mean, it's basic, it's FNaF 1. You're a security guard who works the night shift by a person who talks to you on the phone. And you have 5 animatronics. You have Freddy, Bonnie, Cheetah, and Foxy that hunt you down. But there was a mysterious character, because this game loves to hide the hidden lore of the franchise. There was a mysterious character who in the game files originally was not named Golden Freddy, because originally Scott thought he wasn't going to be important. From what I remember, Scott thought he wasn't going to be important. So I think in the game files, his name was just the Yellow Bear. But it was just a recolored. I mean, you could clearly tell it's a recolor of Freddy Fazbear, but yellow. Or golden. And boom came the name Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is the secret character who in the first game didn't really have story. You know, just an Easter egg character. Like the other Easter eggs, like Freddy ripping his head off in the poster. Or the missing children's incident, which we'll go through. And ghost spirits. And also the endoskeleton and the heads looking at you in the backstage. It's crazy. But, you know, back to the missing children incident. See, in the first Five Nights game, it was the first game. So of course it's not going to have story or lore or secrets. But there was these newspaper articles that talked about the missing incidents that happened at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and how it shut down, and all the closing of it. The story itself, never really explained in the first game, but kind of explained. It's weird, but it's kind of explained. Now, in the first few nights, night 4, Phone Guy, played by Scott Cawthon. Scott plays Phone Guy in every other FNaF game except for 4, Sister Location, and all the rest. But 1, 2, and 3, he plays Phone Guy and Phone Dude. But Scott, aka Phone Guy, he calls you through the first night. It's all normal, it's all fine. But we're talking about the 4th night. The 4th night, if you played FNaF, cool, you know what happens. If you're a newbie and don't know what Five Nights at Freddys is, let me tell you. In the 4th night, Phone Guy calls you. He talks to you for a little bit, but then he realizes he's going to be dead soon, because the animatronics are all surrounding his door, about ready to break in and stuff him inside what you know, a Freddy Fazbear suit. The most darkest thing in FNaF history. An animatronic forcefully shoving you inside a suit because, quote unquote, they think you're an endoskeleton. So it leads your eyeballs and teeth to pop out of the mask. terrifying, huh? Now, that is quite the story of the first game. And I will say, by far, 1 through 4 is my terrifying. Like, 1 through 4 are my favorite. I like 4 and I like 1. But 1 takes the cake of everything, because it's the original. It's the one that started this whole nightmare mess. So, literally, I'm just saying, the first game does bring the chill and terror. I mean, when you see Chica in a hallway, mouth wide open, and Bonnie also had a hallway, dark and white pupil eyes. Don't forget Freddy. When the power is out and you hear Toreador March that plays, that's also terrifying. Toreador March. It's crazy. It's crazy to me how, it's crazy to me how how Scott's game, Chipper and Sons, was going to be his last. Or Chipper and Sons was kind of going to be his last, but not really. To then him making Five Nights at Freddys, and boom! A big success happens right there. I mean, there's legit FNaF the musical. Markiplier still plays it. I almost said Markiplier still plays it, kind of. It's crazy to me how the first Five Nights at Freddys in history has changed life to everyone with cosplays and music. That's another thing I want to talk about. Music. Before I end it off, another thing I want to talk about is the first FNaF song that came out. Everyone knows this song from memes and just nostalgia. When I listen to the song, nostalgia pops up in my head. And that is the Living Tombstone Five Nights at Freddys song. Nothing else, nothing more. Just Five Nights at Freddys by the Living Tombstone. The first FNaF song that came out. It's still popular to this day, but it's the first FNaF song. And I remember listening to that song when it came out. When I was a child. I discovered FNaF, the first one. I discovered it when I was on my iPad watching YouTube. And Markiplier's thumbnail popped up with like Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy at the door. And Bonnie jump scaring. And I thought this was just a random Chuck E. Cheese thing, right? I thought this was like Chuck E. Cheese characters. And I discovered FNaF, and I had this whole... Because I was afraid of animatronics when I was a kid. And I had this whole fear of them, right? And something about that changed, where I like these characters. I like everything about the story of FNaF, and I just like everything. And it's crazy to me how I'm still a fan to this day from how much new games are coming out. Still crazy. Still mind-boggling. It's still mind-boggling to you. And I'll say it one more time. It's crazy how Scott Cawthon once made Christian
Hannah
stuff
as Goliath.
To
Hello, Goliath.
games like Sit and Survive, no pause button, or there is no pause button to Chipper and Sons, to then, boom, Five Nights at Freddys, a local success. Everyone loves and hates Freddy Fazbear. They know him, they hate him, they love him. I love him, and I will always love Freddy because he's my favorite. He's my favorite bear. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Now, if you were probably expecting a whole different me going deep depth into the history of FNaF 1 through whatever. No, it's the first game. It's the first game. Think about like this part 1 as like a pilot. This is like a pilot episode or something. Because this we don't have an intro yet for FNaF Jump to the Past. But yeah. All I gotta say is, literally all I gotta say is, I wasn't planning on going deep depth into the history of FNaF. Just what I think. And I might have got some parts wrong. I might have got some parts right. But it's a little bit of the history of FNaF. Or kind of the history of FNaF. Of how once Scott made no games, to then Scott making the biggest success game ever. I'm talking about this thing was popular in 2014. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. Thank you all for coming to FNaF Jump to the Past. Go check out my friends' channels. Go check out my main channel. Go check out my other channels if you want to go support them too. Like Stupid Roxy stuff or the Ren Hoek account. And another channel I'll probably link in the description. Oh, and also another channel I'll link it. I'm not gonna mention it yet. I'll probably mention about it in a different video, but not yet. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys do enjoy FNaF: A Jump to the Past. We got more nostalgia coming up from my friends and me soon. So yeah, happy 10-year anniversary Five Nights at Freddys. Thank you all for coming in for the first part. Bye.